For 20 years, I overthought everything and it killed my creativity until I shifted one rule into my life, and then everything changed forever. For 20 years, I was overthinking everything I was going to say, everything I was building, and that particular conditioning kept me stuck. That was until I applied this new rule, and the rule was stop overthinking and give yourself 30 seconds to act. See, the beautiful thing is that if you have a thought and you act on it straight away, you're reducing that bandwidth and you're essentially acting as the most authentic version of you that you can possibly be. See, 20 years ago, I was a young teenager and there was no bandwidth between thought and action. If I had an idea, I would write it down. If I had an idea, I would write it down, I would turn it into a video, I would turn it into a drawing. There was no bandwidth for that creativity, and I was the most authentic self I could possibly be. But then the conditioning of the world happened. I started putting some of my work out there, and while some of it got love, a lot of it got criticism. And, excuse me, and that criticism I took to heart. And it stopped me from putting more out there because I was overthinking, oh wow, what if this person doesn't like this? What if this person doesn't like this? See, as an early teenager, I didn't care at first. I was just making things for the fun of it because I had a passion for it, a passion for creativity. But as soon as I decided to let the negative connotations of what people were saying impede on my own creativity, it meant that I stopped doing it. Overthinking was the destroyer of my creativity. And this longed on throughout my teenage years and throughout my 20s. The things that I would love doing, I stopped doing because I was overthinking them. I would have an idea and I would overthink it. Oh, this isn't good enough. This won't attract the right audience. Is this really going to be fulfilling for me? Rather than just writing it down. Rather than eliminating the bandwidth between thought and execution. So throughout those 20 years, I spent a lot of time dwelling in my own mind. And this is a very dangerous thing for those that don't understand how to get out of this. And the one rule of executing just 30 seconds between thought and action didn't occur to me. And if it did, I chose not to recognize it. I dwelled in self-pity. I dwelled in the negativity of my environments. I dwelled in the words that were being said to me. And in turn, I started saying those words to myself. And this is a one-way path to not achieving your dreams, to not striving toward your own North Star, whatever that may be. Overthinking is an absolute killer of creativity and of aspiring toward any dream that you want to achieve. Overthinking is a danger, and this is the power of the mind. And we'll get into the neuroscience a little bit later behind this. So, my actions growing up meant that it was keeping me stuck. For many years, it was keeping me stuck. I wanted to start doing YouTube, but I didn't do that because of the overthinking. So, now we get into how I made the shift. How did I make the shift from this overthinking teenager and in the early 20s to a person that would execute their ideas and see a dramatic shift in the way my life was unfolding? It was no longer a life of mediocrity. Opportunities started coming my way. And it wasn't because I was being more available to them, it's because I was acting. I was being proactive. As soon as an opportunity came my way, I didn't overthink. It was either a fuck yes or a sacred no. A fuck yes is pretty self-explanatory. It aligns with all your values. It aligns with all your principles. A sacred no means that that opportunity was meant for someone else. And for you to say no, it meant stepping forward into another place, another version of you that could be accepting of a better opportunity for the type of person that you are, something more aligned. So I began making this shift. I gave myself 30 seconds, not to dwell on anything, but to be able to step back and say, okay, this particular thought is not helping me. I'm currently overthinking something that does not need to be overthought. Now, of course, there are circumstances such as grief, particular emotions that we should dwell in, that we should experience, that it's better to work within rather than go around. And we want to fully experience those emotions. We want to be present with those emotions. But overthinking is not about being present. Overthinking is usually quite the opposite. We're not staying in the present moment. We're experiencing a future worry or a past regret. And this is the issue with overthinking, because we're using all this mind power that could be used for something so much more practical. In a much more practical way that we could use that mind power to achieve our highest goals, to achieve true presence, to just be happy in the moment. This is the issue with overthinking. It keeps us stuck. And as I began making this shift, I noticed that I was no longer stuck. I was always capable of removing myself, pulling myself out of the depths of the sinking sand of not just mediocrity, but of the mind, taking control, seizing control over who it is I am truly meant to be. I eliminated overthinking. I'm not to say that overthinking doesn't still occur in my life. For example, with this video, overthinking what the hook should be. You know, overthinking how I should be presenting this, in which particular way, how to keep you entertained. Overthinking should not be embraced. If you find yourself overthinking, take a step back. Is this a positive form of thinking? Are you essentially mind mapping something that could be beneficial for you in the future? Or are you simply dwelling on something that cannot be changed? That is the difference between positive thinking toward being an innovator, as opposed to that of overthinking and keeping yourself stuck in that sand. And the power of overthinking is very much like the quicksand of the mind. You will be sucked in, and if you don't pull yourself out, if you don't ask for help to get out, it will consume you. The danger of overthinking is real. Very real. Will you recognize it? Are you capable of taking that step back and saying, hey, this particular thought pattern is not right. This is not who I am. I'm not the overthinker. The overthinker will stay stuck. And I decided, fuck no. Sacred no, I should say. Sacred no to overthinking. Because there are so many other opportunities that will come your way, so many other thoughts that can come your way, rather than dwelling on that you cannot change. So, why does this rule work so well? Why does the 30-second rule between thought and action work so well? Let's have a look at someone like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was notorious for waking up in the middle of the night, running to his managers and saying, "Hey guys, we gotta wake up. I have an idea." They'd be like, "Michael, come on, man. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. We're not gonna go to the studio. Why do we have to go to the studio now?" And he said, "If I don't act on this particular idea right now, Prince will get it." Now you may say, this is a bit woo-woo, but all the greatest ideas are out there in the universe, in the collective consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And if you find yourself overthinking for far too long on a particular idea, someone else will take that idea. Someone will take it. Don't let them. Don't overthink. What are the actions that you can take to move forward? To move forward and use this 30-second rule to help you. One of them is to write it down. Write down the thought you have immediately. Once it's down, you can expand upon that. Don't overthink it. It could be something to do with an innovative thought that you have. Write it down. It may have something to do with a particular emotional relationship situation that you're in. Write it down. Dwelling on any of these thoughts is only going to hurt you. It's only going to bring about suffering, pain, and that's exactly what we don't want. Once it's down on paper or in your notes, wherever it is, you can expand upon it. You can move on to the next thought. We don't want to overthink. Overthinking, like I said, is a one-way path to suffering. The other thing about overthinking is the neuroscience behind it. If you catch yourself out overthinking, we want to approach this from the metacognition point of view, where we can see our own thoughts, where we can catch ourselves out and say, "Hey, you are overthinking. Remember, 30-second rule." And you may find that there's particular neuroassociations that you can make, particular actions that can help you snap out of it. That may be a physical reaction to overthinking. You find yourself overthinking, click twice. Snap yourself out of it. Literally snap yourself out of it. I don't want you slapping yourself. Snap yourself. By adding these neuroassociations, these thought patterns with an action, you can find yourself on the way out from overthinking and the way in to a new version of you. A version of you that is capable of getting through these thoughts, not going around them, getting through them by thinking proactively and by taking physical action to remove yourself from the suffering of overthinking. Now, there are many other ways that you could apply this 30-second rule in your life. And, if you drop food, 30-second rule, all right, I'm joking, maybe not that. But, excuse me. But overthinking can be eliminated by applying this one rule. This one rule can change it forever. You want to start a YouTube channel, you start overthinking, oh, maybe if I do this, I approach it from this niche. Just start. Write down all the niches. Pick your favorite one. Write down all the niches and all the niches you hate. Something you dislike doing. Eliminate anything from the list of do's with the ones of don'ts. There will be correlations. And this applies to any particular goals that you have in life. But that's not the focus of this video. Today, we are speaking about the one rule that you should apply to yourself to eliminate overthinking. We've gone over my story, how I integrated the rule to eliminate overthinking, and the reason as to why we want to do this. So now let's integrate it together. Let's integrate it with 3 deep breaths and a small reflection. I want you to find yourself with a straight spine. A straight spine connects us. Our hands in either chin or Yana Mudra. And closing your eyes. Exhale. Inhale. May we eliminate overthinking by applying the rule of 30 seconds to action. This rule will help us align ourselves with the highest, most genuine and true authentic versions of ourselves. Exhale. Inhale. May we approach the world with pure authenticity, eliminating the bandwidth from thought to action and being our truest self to not only others but to ourselves. Exhale. Inhale. May overthinking take a step away from our psyche as we learn to take new actions upon our thoughts, regardless of how difficult this may be at first. We will condition ourselves into this new way of thinking to love ourselves deeper and deeper. Exhale. Thank you so much for joining me yet again. I hope this helped in one way or another. Overthinking can be so dangerous for our psyche, and it will ultimately impede on the emotions of those around us as well as ourselves. It's a one-way stop to suffering. So relieve yourself of this suffering and apply the 30-second rule anytime you can. If this helps, please let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. I'm glad I didn't overthink that.